I got you in check. Money fell from the sky last night. And my lazy ass kids are out trying to make some of it. And it's so irritating. It's so, makes you feel like a bad father. I'm a bad father. My kids don't want to go out there and make some money. You need to go out and make some money. Get out there and shovel that snow. Or walk through the fucking neighborhood and make you a couple $100. Why not? And it's easy. It's like easy light snow that fell. What's up, Matt? A whole bunch of light snow fell, so it's not even hard work. Like I showed them, like I cleared our driveway sidewalk in 5 minutes. You could literally make $20 a pop, 5 minutes, 10 minutes at a time. And I just think about when I was a kid, man. When the snow fell, I was like, yes, let's do this. Wooden talk. The gates. Light layer of ice, so slippery, can't walk that fast without slipping, freezing rain. Where I'm at. Now we got like 7 inches of snow. I'm watching the show Extras. Anybody ever watch that show? Did you ever watch that show Extras? And it's sort of like more of what I'm talking about, where you have like them normalizing awful behavior and, like if you've seen Extras, I sit there and I almost start yelling at the screen, like, why the fuck are you still friends with that asshole, with that broad? Why the fuck are you still having that asshole be your management? It's like what starts as a good idea. And it's interesting because the show kind of tells you that, that if you watch pay attention, like that's what he's saying. He started off trying to make a highbrow sort of show that got changed into this clown show by the gay Jays who work at the BBC. And I don't know if the show is meant to be a satire of itself. But that ends up what, it just becomes this like instead of a stereotype catchphrase, it's a stereotype behavior. We got slammed in December with almost 2 feet in one day. Had to work that day and plow like a rally racer. Plow through like a rally racer. We never get that much snow. My kid's like, can I spend $25 on Blox Fruit so I can get a thing for Blox Fruits? It's my money, right? You said if I make my money, I can spend it. And I'm like, no. But I gotta be like, yeah, you fucking made the money. You can spend it how you want. It's just irritating. I'm really struggling with who we are, who we've been, this notion of we've been created and manufactured. And it's, in God's image. No, it's in this fool's image. We're just a fool. We've been made into a bunch of clownish fools, there to keep the system going. People always talk about depopulation. Come on up, Chub. People always talk about, they're trying to depopulate us. They're trying to depopulate us. And I don't think that's the case. I don't think this world functions without us. And when you're talking about the rich and the powerful, the main benefit of being rich and powerful is that you only do what you want to do when you want to do it. You know? And that's just how, you know, you feel like going to Hawaii for the week and then jetting on over to Switzerland for some skiing and then over to Hong Kong for a fucking, I don't know, and then down to Australia for some snorkeling. And like, you want to do this life, and then I'm gonna go to Burning Man, and then I'm gonna go to this festival and that festival. And you know, the reason you do that is that's why you're famous. That's what you're famous, so you can enjoy everything that life has to offer. But the only way you can do that is if we are there to make that happen. You know, the famous person shows up at the whatever restaurant, you know, and there's nobody there to cook for them, then it doesn't matter. If they get their plane and there's nobody there to rent them the car and, you know, make sure that car was clean and set to specific, you know, 73 degrees and blah, blah, blah. Is the earth flat? It's not a round ball flying through space. It's amazing. It's amazing to me how, I mean, it's like I struggle with this, right? You know, my wife says it, people say it, like, why do you, what you're not going to succeed. The machine is too powerful. We cannot succeed in overthrowing it, overriding it. And you know, and that can be overwhelming. And I sit there and I look and I just think like I could never go back to saying, yep, the earth is a round ball flying through space. I never can go back to saying that again. So I don't know how to then fit in with society. I'll never say that I think that God is real and Jesus is real. I'll never say that I don't think the Jays are the absolute, you know, final boss bad guy. And I don't know how to exist in this society and not only accept it, not say anything about it. Right? Like it's just, it's a strange feeling. Knowing I should stop, I should, you know, I should stop doing this, and I should, you know, cut my losses and you know, do whatever, but I just don't, I can't. And it's crazy too, because like I say, it's not like I go to look up anything that pops up, any I wonder what this says, and I go look it up, and I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense, or there's a bunch of stuff that I'm given, and I go, you know, you know, it's not like that. It's everything I read it, and I'm like looking around, like, does anybody else see this? Do you guys, does this make sense to you? God is the only way to explain flat. That's the only way to explain it. Huh? That's what I mean. How can you say something so stupid? How have you been engineered to be that stupid? It's the only way it could exist. There's no other possibilities whatsoever. Like, do you not? That's just goofy, and it's like desperation, right? It's like how you see Christians on TV all the time. And it's not like they're not the dominant religion here, but yet they're always like how the Christians in the football games get together at the 50-yard line and do their little prayer circle so everybody can see them. Or the guy, well, first of all, I want to say none of this is possible without God. Like, God's watching to make, oh, okay, cool, he said it. Gotcha, he said it. All right, wasn't sure if he was gonna say it, but he said it. Nothing's possible. Like, they're constantly trying to convince people instead of letting people see the goodness for what it is and, you know, come to the conclusion themselves. They're constantly like, no, look, it's real. It's real. We don't have any real evidence, but I caught the football. I caught the football. It's really fucking weird. Always follow your heart and do what you feel most passionate about. Yeah, but not if you want to be successful. Not if you... So Jesus isn't real. Abso-fucking-lutely not. Why would Jesus be real? I mean, think about how silly that is. Just think about it from your own perspective, right? You got this girl. You've been working on it forever. She's like, we gotta wait till we're married for some reason, which is weird because you wouldn't even think why would there wouldn't be that religious virtue then. There was no Christianity back then. But somehow she's not only gonna wait till she's married, she's gonna wait till after she's married because her and Joseph were married, right? And yet they still weren't having sex, and somehow she gets pregnant. Like if this was you put in all this time, you got this girl, she's great and all, but she won't sleep with you. And then one day she shows up pregnant. How many of you are going to accept the idea, well, it must have been a fucking immaculate conception. That's God's baby in there. How many of you accept that? Everything's super swell, other than, I'm living in a world where there's a genocide taking place and J pedos control the fucking narrative. Other than that, everything's fine. Whatever you value most, then. What do I value most? My family is what I value most. My life. I value my life. I want to live. But I'm scared for what is to come because it definitely doesn't look good. It's just a strange position to be in. Why? I wish I understood why this was the way it is. You don't seem to value them. Yes, you're right, I don't, because you're here all the time and you know. Yes, and a good life involves love with the heart. It always leads you in the right place. It does. I mean, again, these are all things that they have taught. Like, none of this shit is stuff that we go, fuck yeah, this is the... We all just hear these catchphrases, All you need is love. Follow your heart. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, the idea of following your heart, like it's not in your brain. And fuck if we even know. It's your brain, I guess. It must be the brain that's doing it. I don't know.
Who is this?
Who, what, where?
Is this John? No, it's not John. There's no way that's John.
I don't know. I don't care.
That's sweet.
I moved all my music to Korean comments and they want to hit some conspiracies in my music.
That is sweet.
Okay.
Oh, I got that.
Not all you need, just one of the most important aspects. Maybe. Maybe. I mean, there's the selfish aspect where, yes, all you need is this and a good, but to me, it doesn't matter how good my life is. I could be, I could be this award-winning musician, huge fucking following, blah, 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 blah. As long as there are still people being, there's a genocide still happening, I'm not okay with it. Especially if I knew that I could do something. I could say something. Like all these famous, celebrities and shit that are just staying quiet. Or they'll have like a little label on their jacket that's a Palestinian flag or a watermelon or something. And they'll be like, oh my God, look, this person's showing support Palestine. I mean, the whole idea of free Palestine is just the illusion. It's just the illusion. Think about it. The person that's here every day that says what I do is terrible, but yet watches me every day, also says my music is bad. Well, if I'm so bad that you sit here and watch me every day, it must not mean it's that bad. So if they say my music is bad, it must not be that bad. See what I mean? It's your credibility goes with you wherever you go. But just understand, it's like Free Palestine is kind of like, anti-Semitism, right? These are these phrases, these weird, manipulations that are done to us. Free Palestine as far as what? How what do you mean free Palestine? Where? When do we free Palestine back to? Pre-October 2023? Pre-2006? Pre, 1967? Pre-1983? Pre-1967? Pre-1948? When do we do that? Or when is Palestine free? Pre-1948? Pre-1915? Like, what does free Palestine mean? And considering Palestine is yesterday's news, it's not like it's just Palestine. It's like saying the Holocaust was just Jays. It wasn't. There was lots of other people involved. And just like right now, it's not just the Palestinians. The Lebanese, the Yemenis, the Iran is clearly the end target, right? So it's not at all about free Palestine as much as it's end Israel. And it's not even end Israel because Israel is just an idea. It's just an invisible border, invisible house around the people. It's the people's belief that is the problem. So the real war cry is end Jayism. And that's, that's the same thing. Free Palestine. And the same thing goes with anti-Semitism, right? They make it out to be that like every time they say that's anti-Semitism, they're actually telling you the truth. But it's not the truth you think it is. They make it sound like it's this terrible thing when Semitism is policy or predisposition favorable to Jays, meaning the rules and the way that we go into things and everything is favorable to the Jays. So anti-Semitism is simply opposing Jay supremacy. If everything is favorable to you, that's your supremacy. So if you oppose the Jay supremacy, that's anti-Semitism. And yet they have people sitting there, like weaponizing like legitimizing it in this way that it's like, instead of people embracing it and saying, yeah, no, it is anti-Semitism because I oppose supremacy. You then sit there and try to defend it. No, that's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm doing. You should absolutely be proud of it. Fuck yeah, I oppose supremacy with every fiber of my being. Especially this goofy, disgusting cult-like supremacy. And go with that. Like, it's okay that you think that way. You should think that way. That's the right way to think. That's so accurate. As long as the oppressor is still there, it's just going to keep happening over and over. Exactly. It's not about the victims. It's about it's about the victimizer. You're focused on helping the one child that speaks out against the J rape in Hollywood, instead of, while you're sitting there focused on how you're going to help this one child, 100 children are being violated. You're sitting there feeling like you've done the right thing. You feel good because you have done a good thing. Helping a child is a good thing. But you don't realize that you're basically like turning your back on all the others. That's what this is all about. We have to figure out how to override their bullshit. Now look at my number's down to 0. All of a sudden, all these people are like, no, you're telling the truth. We should convince these countries to be more nationalistic. Why? Focusing on constitutional republics instead of mob rule democracy. What are you even talking about? We always have been and always will be a one world society. As long as they fracture us and have us believing that wherever your grandparents, parents have sex, whatever, that dictates your quality of life, we're being fooled. Just because you were lucky enough to be born an American shouldn't give you a better life than if you just happen to be born a Palestinian. Nothing works. We should have a socialist, we should have a platform that hasn't had a name yet because it hasn't existed yet. But if you're convinced that, first of all, I don't think everyone should have to work. But let's just say everyone does have to work. That's how we do it. So why don't we just say everybody works 3 or 4 hours a day for 3-4 days a week? Now we double up all the shifts so everybody can have their job. Everybody works better because they're not all burnt out. They don't hate their existence. They have a schedule that works for them. They can still enjoy life because they're not fucking trapped in a prison most of their awake hours. And we have machines that do the majority of the work. The majority of the shitty labor jobs and whatnot, the machines are doing them. But people that think like, oh, well, I have to work, so why shouldn't they? Well, you might be a lot more capable than they are. For all you know, that person has all sorts of mental issues and all sorts of debilitating things that you wouldn't want. You wouldn't want to trade with them and, oh, you get to stay home because you get paid by the government, barely enough to get by, but you don't have to work, as opposed to somebody that can literally, affect their situation, just work harder, get a better job. You have no idea what people go through or experience to not work.
Yeah. A lovely relative asked me, you guys working? When was the last time you worked? Well, recently than you.
I mean, it's just weird. It's just...
He's got his RC car. He's riding it through the snow.
It's just weird how people... Like how we've been programmed to be compassionless. Someone's here. What?
First things first, money.
Okay.
So I don't have pockets. The second thing, I don't want to do this because of Nick.
Okay. Then.
Just try to split the money with Rosie and Serenity.
Okay, they don't get any money.
Yeah, but Nick's already said they could.
Okay, well they don't. Tell him if he has an issue, he can come talk to me about it.
No,
You're gonna keep going, or go to a different person's house and do it yourself.
Are freezing.
I know you shouldn't be grabbing snow.
Can I grab different gloves?
Yes. Come on.
Really did. Next thing's first, we'll split the money.
Okay. Tell him to. Nick's trying to split the money with the girls.
No.
Right.
No.
Nathan already brought money home.
Yeah, I know. Shelly gave you 35. You gotta go to the bank and get it. Okay?
What gloves you're talking about, Daniel? Come get them. The better gloves. Oh, here they are. Here, I got you. Why would you even wear these gloves out
I
there?
don't know. I gave him the other gloves.
He knows better.
I want to get in snow.
Here, I'm gonna.
I thought he promised them that we could all split the money.
No. Oh, Dad's gonna go take care of it.
Ooh. Ooh. Oh, if they're shoveling, they split the money. Yeah, fuck that. Look, they're shoveling too. So unless you don't, if you don't want to split the money with them, then go this way on your own and go shovel some snow on your own. I mean, literally, these things should take you 5 minutes, okay? You don't go in anyone's, I don't care what they say. If they want you to come in and get the money, you come get me first. The girls are shoveling. I told him if he doesn't want to split the money, then he should go this way. Go north by himself and he can shovel that way. But the girls are shoveling. Fuck it. They're working.
They are working.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they should only get 40%. What? I think I'm being generous. I was going to say 30.
Did you see you did a little spider in the...
Of course I saw it. I didn't even know you got that one.
Not too shabby. A little bit of snow.
Yeah.
I like my flower.
Look, I'm a bad parent because I'm making my kids go make money shoveling snow. So then I can take it and use it to buy my meth. What? They make way more money than I could. They got those cute faces. Plus they got that endless battery that doesn't require the meth. So just fucking let him, go make that money.
Did Nathan go by himself or did
Yep.
you go with... He did?
Yeah. Like a jackass. But he,
Where's
I
he at?
don't know, he went north. Maybe he turned around and went south.
He had to.
He must have. Right, because he couldn't be alone. Shoveling snow. Exploiting child labor. You better fucking believe it. I'm letting my J flag fly. By the way, if you guys do, that's a good way to get yourself blocked. Because that to me is the pedo flag. So Fly the pedo flag, get yourself blocked. Just so you guys know right off the bat. We don't have to worry about it. But yeah, I learned from all the J's. Child labor. Mwahaha. Get out there if you want to eat. I make them, and they're not allowed to eat until they bring home $200 each from shoveling snow. They're going to be out there all day. $200 each. You know how much crack rocks I can buy with $200 each?
No, I don't.
I don't either, but still, it's a lot. I assume. Got that. Oh, there you go. Stand with Jay. There you go. You want to fly your pedo flag? Fly your pedo flag. You're going to get blocked. You should call DHS. Absolutely. Tell them that I am exploiting my kids, making them go out and shovel snow so I can steal their money to buy meth, and they don't get to eat, and they get spankings, and I make them go to church. Making them go to church is a bad thing, right? It's a fun. No, oh wait, that's not a. I take away their church. That's what it is. They don't get to go to church. Yep. I would give anything, man. I would love to hear the phone call that you make where you call a government agency and be like, there's a guy out there making his kids go outside and shovel snow. I'd love to hear their response to that. What? What are they, like 3 and 4 years old? No, they're teenagers. He's making it teenagers go outside and shovel snow. How dare him? I bet that'll work out well. You know how stupid you're going to look? You should record it and then upload it so I can see the response. Because I want to see how they respond. You think they're going to send all the police cars? They're going to send a SWAT. Oh my God! Stop shoveling that snow! You know what? And the fucked up part is, because I made my kids go do it, the other kids in the neighborhood thought it looked like so much punishment that they joined them. There's 2 other neighborhood kids that have joined their little troop of snow shovelers. Oh man, my influence is great. I love it. I love it. Look at how, can you imagine that level of desperation? That level of stupidity and desperation? You know you're like literally no match for me intellectually, so you have to resort to that. That of all things? That's fantastic. And of course, I'm always gonna point it out to the normal people watching. Who the fuck would be that desperate, right? Who in their right goddamn mind, the people that hate me so they come watch me every day. They were really upset because I didn't go live for like an extra hour and a half today. I wonder if he's gonna go live today. I'm waiting for it. They hate me so much they watch me all the time. Well, that makes total sense, doesn't it, people? Who's gonna do this? Who is going to desperately try to shoot the messenger over me smashing the J's and trying to, we should kill pedos. That's the slogan. We should kill pedos. Like who's going to oppose that again? Can anybody just explain that one a little bit? Who's gonna who's gonna do that? How am I doing, man? Oh, well, I'll be doing a lot better when my kids get home with my meth money. I don't even know if you can get meth. Like, I mean, I'm sure you can get meth. It's not, I don't think it's big here in Michigan. I don't really know. I mean, if you're going to insult me, seriously, get your geographical drugs correct. it would much more likely be crack here in Detroit. So, like, I don't even know. I literally know nothing about it. I, 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 I wouldn't even know if you gave me some salt and you were like, "That's meth. Look at the crystals." I'd be like, "Looks like salt, but okay." I don't fucking know. But like, I don't know how much it costs. I don't know anything about that shit. I used to be cool. Actually, at no point in my life have I ever known how much meth costs.
I have no idea.
At no point in my life have I known how much crack costs or where to get it. I mean, I guess I've known people that probably could get it, secondhand. There was one time when we went to our everyday weed house when we were dumb high school kids driving out to Detroit for our weed. And we were in Brightmore, best place in the world. And I walk up to my drug house, and normally, like, these guys were cool. My buddy worked at the Mammoth Video, and so he would create fake accounts that he would rent me video games to, that I would then go take the Sega games down to Detroit and trade them for weed. And Buddha Williams or whoever it was, because there wasn't like a license attached. This is back before computers were computers. And so, like, we knew these guys. We would hang out with these guys, and they were cool. And then one day I show up, I go knock on the door, and the guy's like, "Go around the side." I'm like, "What? Go around the side? What's up, beef?" Go around to the side, and he's like, "How many you want?" I'm like, "I don't know, man, just like a couple of dimes." And he's like, "Dimes? What you talking about?" I'm like, what is going on here? He's like, "Come back around the front." So I go around the front, and it's completely different people. And they're like, "Man, you want some weed?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "We ain't got no weed. We got crack here. We got crack." I was like, "No, I'm good on the crack, though. Thank you." And they're like, "All right, man. All right." I can't remember if that was the time the cops were rolling by or not. Hey, I can't believe the cops didn't stop us that time. I literally couldn't have looked more out of place walking up to one of these known drug houses. So stupid. When you're young, you're so stupid. Let's see. Oh, I'm not reading all this. Oh, wait. We have a pedo flag flyer. You gotta know. I already gave you the warning. I don't care how much shit you're talking since then. Flying the pedo flag gets you removed. Removed. Same with tobacco. Yes, they are a drug. Nothing close to as bad as pills. We all treat them like they are normal. Sugar and caffeine are the #1 drugs in the world. I take all the drugs, God damn it! Don't you guys know? I fucking take them all. All the drugs all day long.
She was asking. I said, "I don't know. They're shoveling, and then their dad promised to take them to GameStop, so maybe. I'll find out."
Super needy, man. It's really weird.
She likes her ways. Like, not, makes her feel like I got my.
Sure.
Hello. Hi. Yeah. Boys are out shoveling, making some money.
For Dad's crack. So he can buy my crack.
He's doing his live feed.
This would kill him, man. People just can't compete with logic. Exactly. But it's fun to make fun of them. I do have a weakness, and that's I don't even like it about myself. But like, especially if you're stupid.
Yeah, it
and you're like aggressive or combative or whatever. But if you're stupid, it's like blood in the water to me, right? I'm just like I really enjoy
Protection and power.
making stupid people feel stupid until I start to feel like I'm punching down. Once I feel like I'm punching down, then I feel bad about it.
Here, 'cause that's
But
my
it's
goal.
it's just sometimes it has to happen, you know. It's just what it is.
So the flower.
But I look at this whole thing and I you know, did you watch Hollywoodism?
But it also reminded me of Mike when I was little and he used to tickle me until I wanted to pee myself. So
Like
it was appropriate.
I want to get my wife's opinion on Hollywoodism, but she's
Next to make
doing
sure
her daily
on the inside of
multiple hours worth of phone calls to her mom. Did you watch Hollywoodism? Did you watch the full thing? It's Hollywoodism is one of these things, these movies where it doesn't even like it doesn't. There's no crescendo. Like there's no, well, it's all crescendo. It doesn't like hit a point, a climax, and then come down. It just keeps going and going and stacking, and you're like, what? No way, no way, no way. And when you when you see how they openly expressed that they used it to control government and they use it to control, just all these different aspects of society to create the America that they wanted to create. It's really crazy, yes. There's no doubt in my mind that it couldn't be the Jays, even if it was scripted. Like, everything connects. It's like a super complex game of connect the dots. It is. It is.
Obviously, I mean,
It's weird. It's like, because again, it's not. It's like a connect the dots picture, but you can see what it is just looking at the picture. You don't even have to draw. That's how obvious it is. It's not a crazy, kooky, complex, outlandish. It all fit so snugly, and it answers all of the questions, because people always come with that idea that, like, it's too complicated. It's too complicated to understand, and you're just, you accept this notion that you're too stupid. But it really, like you said, it's a surreal feeling, right? It's a lot. It's heavy. Because it does it. And it's not like it's like when you say everything, people will think about like sort of mainstream kind of things. But they don't understand that it's everything, even like small kinds of things. It's all just a narrative that they created and used to manufacture the reality that they want. They love to give themselves medals. They love to make themselves more important. That's what the whole idea of the award ceremonies were. the Grammys and shit like that. It was about making them, feel more important. I don't, or to sell their importance to us. Because we've already been convinced that medals and awards and shit, that makes you shut up. God damn, dude. It's the same people over and over again. Keep going. Huh? No, he went that way. He doesn't want to split his money 4 ways. I don't blame him. Like, sub, and share. There you go. Appreciate it. Everybody needs to understand these things. Nothing I'm saying is fake. You know, that's the one thing I can never be accused of, is lying or faking or embellishing or anything. I don't know how else to... Dude, you can be whoever the fuck you want to be. You fly the pedo flag, you're getting blocked. And the more profiles you just happen to have or make in order to watch my feed, the more you make me look like a god. What's your wisdom on the submarines? Go watch the first 9 parts. Talk all about it.
And also,
If you can just prove it to yourself, prove they exist to yourself. Find footage of submarines underwater. Find footage that makes sense to your scrutiny. One of the most important things I can tell you to do is look at the videos of the people in submarines underwater. And do they look like people inside a tube moving through the water at whatever speeds, or do they look like they're just sort of standing there? It's really crazy. That's it, though. I don't want to get all into it because it's just a small piece of it. And it's fascinating to me that people are so concerned with that. I'm telling you that all you have to do is watch one movie and it will explain everything to you. You have to watch it. You have to watch it and you have to pay attention to every little piece. And part of me almost thinks you have to watch it with me. Because I'm going to pause it and I'm going to point out things that you might not see. My wife didn't necessarily see all of the things. And she pointed out shit to me that I didn't see. But that is the movie that will... That's like the Bible of conspiracy movies. Red October is hilarious. But why would they fake them? Control.
when? Recent?
You know, when they've shown it. I mean, just think about Clerks, the movie Clerks, right?
You know, you've got...
And how he says that, you know, people that think they're on camera will leave the right amount of change and won't steal, blah, blah, blah. It's like open prison. Shut up, dude! Seriously! It's our neighbors! Shut up! Oh.
And just, you know, collecting their check or their free room and board, whatever they get.
But just like the whole, I love that you brought up the Red October. That's the funniest. When you think about the shit that you're shown in that movie, the big giant submarine is like swimming around, and you know, pinwheel swimming around.
No.
I don't even know how old I was. I was young. I didn't even know what pinwheel was because I didn't have cable. And this kid sang the song, pinwheel, spinning around. And he said, look on the floor and then pee on the ground. And that has been with me for 40 fucking years. Crazy.
Yeah.
Submarines don't move like that. Yeah, I know. Anyway, the idea, why would they do it? Why would they do it? To convince us that we're prisoners. We're the prisoners, that's why. If you look up and you see the guards standing there with their big guns, are you more likely to run? Are you like, fuck that, you know? And so if the Goyim think they control the top of the water, under the water, in the sky, above the sky, Space Force,
Yeah.
that they control every aspect of everything, we're much more likely to comply. We comply when we think when we're supposed to. It's the whole idea of the Bible, right? The idea that there's this big brother God watching everything you do, and you better not speak bad about the king, and you better not jerk off, and you better not do, because there's always God watching, and and it's all just designed to keep you being who they want you to be.
Really?
It's awful. Do you know that people believe, like there were generations and generations of people whose child died before they were able to get it baptized, either in had stillbirth or had a premature something, anything before the child was able to get baptized. And if the child died before baptism, they went to purgatory. They only got rid of purgatory like 10 years ago. Maybe 20 years ago.
Yep, that's how they get you.
But do you understand that the religious control scheme told women that if they happen to have some sort of complications and lose a baby or whatever, that their baby was fucking forever in this not heaven, not hell, this white purgatory, this nothing. And they just spend all of their existence in purgatory. Why do you hate the Jays? The genocide, the slavery, the pedophilia. It's kind of a lot of things.
She's gonna be doubly traumatized. Oh, she's gonna be so fucked up.
I hate them because they hate us. I mean, the whole thing isn't.
And then every once in a while, when you think about her,
It's not complicated. It's not hard to see. I need you to take this so I can go put the garbage out. You got it. Oh, fuck it. Day. Yeah.
No, we got it. And snowflower. No. And says my necklace.
Sure. Sure. You done?
I'll be putting on this row and most of the top. Everybody said either we got it, they're not home, or
You tried?
yeah,
Okay.
I couldn't get a single person.
Wow. That's pretty terrible. Wait. Okay. Yeah. Everything's done. That's why you got to get up early. That's exactly the thing.
Okay, so Mary Jo said she's going to the bank because she didn't have
Take
enough
all your
cash
stuff
out.
off.
And we didn't have cash out.
Move.
So she's going to the bank and she'll bring the rest
She
of
told
it.
us. She told us.
Oh,
My crack money.
I told Nate.
Hey, Dad.
No. Okay.
Can I have the phone, please?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna see if I have
Make sure everybody does their clothes correct. Oh, they didn't make enough crack money. I want my crack money. Whatever, they tried. I used to walk. I used to do it all day. I would be out all day. And back then, it's not like everybody had rideable fucking snowplows that they could. What? Just leave it down there. Just leave it down there. You know, it's just too much, man. There's just too much out there that shows you the truth. You know, maybe should we watch it again? I don't think we should watch it again. I mean, like it's weird. It's so weird to have to do this, and then you know, there's all these dumbasses that are commenting, but they don't actually know anything. Like you're seriously arguing, like if I'm sitting here, I'm a chef, right? And I'm cooking a recipe that I have. And what? I already said no. It doesn't even matter if it is. You can play early, but you're not getting a phone right now. Fuck. You know, it's just what it is, man. We have to see. Oh yeah, that's the same. So I have all these idiots that are arguing and saying these things, but they don't know. Like people that are arguing, especially when it comes to the J stuff, especially when it comes to something like Hollywoodism. You know, if I sit here and I tell you that there's this movie, you know, if I were to say Alex Jones made this movie, and it's all about how the Jays control the world, and blah, you would say, oh, well, that's Alex Jones. So what, Alex Jones? But when you understand that Hollywoodism is them coining the term that they made a new religion, that they made a new religion with their J views as the core of it, and used Hollywood to facilitate it throughout the country, throughout the world. Like it really is shocking how telling it is. And you know, all of you naysayers, what could you possibly say? Right? How can you possibly, what argument can you have when they make the movie? You know, it's just... That was funny. I just saw somebody fall off their bike in the snow because they're riding their bike in the snow. That's weird. But it's like, again, like what even motivates someone to do that? What motivates someone to say something when they don't know what the conversation's about? You know, again, if I'm a chef and I'm sitting there saying, all right, it needs, I'm a baker especially, and it's like, all right, it needs exactly this amount and exactly this amount. You know, because baking is like chemistry. If you get a little bit off or a little bit wrong, it's not going to turn out right. And I have these people on here going, no, you need to add this and you need to do this. And it's like, do you even know, like I'm adding, you know, add some pepper. Why would I add pepper to a cake? You're scared to add the pepper. Like, and they're talking about, and it's like, what expertise do you have in this field? Are you a chef of some sort? I'm not answering any questions like that. I'm just going to keep talking nonsense. And it's like, what motivates people to be that way? I just can't imagine. If I'm commenting on a video, I want the person talking to be distracted by how smart my comments are. I don't understand how people like, and there are plenty of videos. There are videos where I watch, like card videos. There are videos like that where I watch, and I talk shit all the time, but it's because it's making the kid better. He's a dork. He's an arrogant dork. He's not someone you just suggest things to. This is a guy who said, John Ellaway over and over again, until I just kept making fun of him for it. And granted, again, I'm not perfect, but I have interest in the video. I have interest in what the video is talking about. I appreciate it. Like, I support the video. I share the video. I do all those things. I might talk shit, but it's never anything other than what the video is about. So I just have such a hard time understanding the narrative, understanding the motivation outside of it's Team Jorge kind of shit. Team Jorge shit makes sense. It's really fucking, like, really easy. Very accurate comparison, guy. Lack of social life, real life friends is part of my life. See, it's weird to me that you keep going with that one, because that's the one you're supposed to go with. What do you think the system wants you to think it's the system? Or do you think the system wants you to think that there are these losers that are just super obsessed with me? I just can't. Even if you are this, like, if you came into this feed as a loser, no friends, no nothing, but you contributed, even if you disagreed with me, but you contributed, intelligently, you disagreed intelligently, I would have no problem with that. I would totally welcome you. My band is all misfits. But if you're just, I just can't, and that's what I think most people will do. There are dorks out there that will actually, but when it turns into an obsession, daily obsession, like, it just gets weird. And I have such a hard time really believing I'm that important to people. It's just, it's that cut and dry. The only people that I can imagine that would actually be, like, even if you're the biggest asshole in the world, as soon as I start talking about we need to cut off Israel and oust these Jays and destroy the pedophiles, how does that not, you don't go, oh, well, I might be a loser, but I'm not like a piece of shit. All right, man, you get the pass. Well, like, you would think, like, the ends would outweigh the means, right? Instead, there's these, I'm supposed to believe that there are really, really people who this is hours, days, weeks of their life is spent basically being ignored by me. And in a negative perception of the guy that's saying anything. At the same time, I'm adamantly, openly, proudly, proud of my anti-Semitism and proudly against the Jays. The fact that there are none that come through here and actually try to have intelligent conversation, that says a lot. There are plenty that identify themselves as Jays. But even, all they do is make the argument even stronger. They're the ones that usually say the most nonsense. But how does that all make more sense than simply Team Jorge and their 30,000, 40,000 fake profiles, or any number of other Israeli black ops organizations that specialize in cyber, cyber attacks, bot farms, blah blah blah. How you really do? You would really put more weight into losers than you would a system that is their set goal is to do this thing. This is what this is what they do. And if you look at previous videos prior to Trump taking over, and the occasional since then, I mean, I've clearly, and I've been doing this long enough, that I would be on every J list they have. Literally making songs about it and everything. But just think about it. Think about, look at the comments. Look at how desperately stupid they are. Just do any of those comments, affect me or reflect me? No, it's just some dumb shit trying to get those that are maybe on the fence or those that are new here or whatever to think poorly of me. Look, if they can make you think I'm crazy, and then you go, oh, if I like a crazy guy, that must make me crazy. Well, I'm not crazy, so I'm not going to like the crazy guy. It's psychological warfare. They know they can't debunk or even, come close to debating anything. They can't. They don't know these things. They're really stupid. And the stuff they do know, they don't want us knowing. But you have to be able to look deeper, and Hollywoodism gives you a much better perspective on things. It shows you what this is about. Why would this make any sense? Why would multiple different people come in day after day saying the same stupid, distraction bullshit? It just doesn't. It only fits with a manufactured narrative. At the very least, if it really was people, it would be different. They wouldn't say the same stupid things, the same stupid ways. Get the same spellings wrong, the same spacing wrong. It only makes it, and the Jays, they're too dumb to really realize it. And they're definitely hoping that you're too dumb to realize it. And they're right. A lot of people are. A lot of people will fall for it. A lot of people will, because what I'm saying makes them uncomfortable, because you've been programmed to get uncomfortable. And when you get uncomfortable, you look for the easy way out, because again, that's how you've been programmed. They provide the easy way out. What's easier? That I'm crazy and it just sort of is the way it is, or that it's our fault because we aren't unified in fixing these situations like we should be. If you want to hide from that responsibility, then, oh, it's just the way it is. It's just the devil. It's the devil. Oh, it's just the free will of some of the bad guys, but it's not. We can't fix it. It's so similar. It's all the same. Clearly the same hand is manipulating all the different things. When you look at sports and you look at how there's these rich J owners who, these are the wealthy people. You might think Shaq is rich, but somebody pays Shaq. Right? That should put it in perspective. pays Shaq and the rest of the team. Or at least back then, whatever. Pays LeBron. Somebody pays LeBron and Luka now. Same team. You know, that kind of shit, like it's they own it's plantation shit. And you saw a great example of it. 2016, the whole shut up and dribble thing happened. Where, you know, the athletes started to sort of speak out and be like, hey, this isn't cool. You sure are killing a lot of unarmed black men. And as soon as that started taking flight, the shut up and dribble idea came through. And it just shows you that it worked. They, you know, as much as it was insulting and as much as you LeBron is super duper powerful, LeBron shut up and dribbled. And it's all, you know, you have been tricked into thinking that slavery ended. Slavery didn't end, it expanded. The notion of slavery, and I don't even believe in slavery. I think that whole narrative is stupid. But we're all just slaves. They've just provided a better plantation. You know? That's all it is. There is no American dream that you can achieve without their help. And if you look at the way the major things work, from sports teams to studios, it's all the same thing. The studio has all of its different players on its team, on its roster. And when one studio wants to use another studio's actor, they have to work out a deal between all the J's above them. All the J's above them have to get paid. You hear about, you know, Jim Carrey makes $10 million a movie. No, he doesn't get $10 million a movie. But just think about how they've tricked us into thinking, you know, the fact that damn near everyone you know is just barely getting by. You know, and everybody keeps their mouth shut from the top to the bottom, even the people that aren't barely getting by. Those are like the house Negroes. You know, they're, oh well, I don't want to say too much and make the master mad. I could lose all my house Negro status. I can hit a ball with a bat real well. I can throw a ball through a hoop. Ooh, me, I can hold a ball and run really fast. And if you throw it, I'll catch it real good. Yeah. And that it's the same fucking thing. They've just glamorized it. They've just glitterized it. They've just Hollywoodismed it. Everything's just been fucking Hollywoodismed. And it's the, you know, you just have to see it. It's not even hard to see. That's the funniest part is like, I swear, just go look anything up. Go look up anything. And if you look far enough, if you look deep enough in the history, you're going to see that it's a whole bunch of Jay fucking crazy bullshit. Jay's run the show. Jay's pulled the strings. Jay's created it. Jay's took it over, whatever it may be. It's really scary. But it's also, it's really enlightening to see how it's changing, how things are like people are waking up. This next generation that's protesting at the all the colleges and universities. Like this is, you know, this is the next generation. This is the change they fear. You know, this next generation didn't have that month-long lesson on the Hollowhokes and the poor Jays like we did every year. It's just, it's It's just so obvious. And Hollywoodism is that glue that puts it all together. So if you're sort of struggling maybe to see where what the connection is, Hollywoodism. How did they pull it all off? How did such a small portion of the population pull off such an incredible feat? My wife said too, because the narrative that they give us is that they make up 2% of the population, 2% of the United States population. But maybe that's just more bullshit. Maybe they actually make up a lot more of the population than we realize. Even still, even if they make up more, it's definitely not the majority. And it's funny too because like you have to look at it too like you want to talk about Stockholm syndrome. The whole J conspiracy narrative is obvious. It's not hidden. It's in plain sight. You know, it really is almost embarrassing how they just flaunt it and we just okay we take it or even deny it in a lot of cases. It so it's either like people are Stockholm syndrome to the fullest, or they're really really dumb. But as I continue to point out, like look at the there's no argument. There's no argument that there's a J conspiracy and that they hate us and that they do all these horrible things to us and they control none of that. There's no arguing that. They want to talk about me. I talk about a big, the big picture sort of narrative. I want to talk about things as a whole. And they want to talk about me. Why do you think that is? Instead of doing the intelligent thing, doing the obvious thing, which would be, pointing out everything I'm getting wrong, making me look stupid, showing that I'm lying, showing that I'm just making up all these narratives and that everything's easily squashed. Like that would be the smart thing to do. That's literally what I'm doing to the system. We decide to look something up, we do whatever, and I don't know, I've never read it before. It could easily show how stupid I am. And every single time it's pretty obvious that we are stupid. We've been made to be stupid when it comes to these things. And then to sit there and defend them and but I can't even say that's what's happening, right? Nobody's defending. Nobody's actually acknowledging it. It's just fucking stupid. I just find it fascinating. And you have to think like these people, if they could say something, they would. So either, again, they're dumb and they know the argument, they don't know any of these things, so they're just embarrassingly saying random shit, or I'm right and they know they can't argue anything. Any way you slice it, that's what these comments show you. These are people with venom. They're mad. They're talking their big boy shit. And not one of them is smart enough to actually have an intelligent sort of. They don't know. When it comes to the J stuff, obviously they know that stuff, and they know that I'm right, and they can't say anything. But if it is just regular dumb people, I believe in God kind of people, well, it just shows you how stupid they are. Any way you slice it, I come out on top. The whole thing is fucking crazy. Oh, you know what? Yesterday, we had been working on Fort Jefferson. Let's continue the Fort Jefferson thing right where we left off, actually. In 1829, under recommendations from Commodore John Rogers, by the way, this is Fort Jefferson, and it's off the Florida Keys, but it's not just off the Florida Keys. It's on a just this one individual island 70 miles southwest of the Florida Keys. Like how somebody ever even found this little island is beyond me. But then how they built this huge structure, 47.125 acres, made of 15, what would they say? 16 million bricks. 16 million bricks were just in 1824. That's when they built it. Built in 1861, sorry. Built in 1861. In use from September 1861 to April 1st, 1869. April Fool's Day. They got to throw that in there. They built this thing just for the Civil War. That's all. That's all. So we're gonna start with the construction, right? In late December 1824 and early January 1825, about 5 years after Florida joined the United States, U.S. Navy Commodore David Porter inspected the Dry Tortugas Islands. He was on the lookout for a site to build a naval station that would help suppress piracy in the Caribbean. Unimpressed with what he saw, he notified the Secretary of Navy that the Dry Tortugas were unfit for any kind of naval establishment. He reported that they consisted of small sand islands a little above the surface of the ocean with no fresh water, scarcely enough land to place a fortification, and in any case were probably not solid enough to bear one. So why the fuck is this even there? It's not saying that he discovered them. It's just saying that this one guy in 1924-25 inspected the islands and decided not to do it. So why is that even? This is some of that unnecessary detail that they put into stuff to make you think that there's more realistic detail. Like this is the construction of it, right? That's what it says. Construction history, right? That's the first sentence in the construction aspect. So right there, you get a whole paragraph. 1, 2, 3, 3 or 4 long sentences, right? And it's details. So your head goes, okay, there's details there, right? I got details about this experience. I know these are details. I got this. All right. So you're not going to remember these details, but you're going to remember that you read details. So there's no construction narrative here. It's just telling you some bullshit. Some bullshit that literally doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. While Commodore Porter thought Dry Tortugas were unfit for a naval station, others in the U.S. government thought the islands were a good location for a lighthouse to guide ships around the area's reef and small islands. A small island called Bush Key, later called Garden Key, was selected as the site for the lighthouse, which became known as Garden Key Light. Construction began in 1825 and was completed in 1826. The 65-foot lighthouse was constructed of brick with a whitewashed exterior. A small white cottage for the lighthouse keeper was constructed beside the lighthouse. So again, I don't understand why Commodore Porter was even put in there other than to fuck with you and make you think there's more details than there is. And then who are the other people in the government that were like, no, that Commodore guy that's out there inspecting. Think about this. How is he inspecting? 1824, what's he doing? What measuring tools does he have to check the density of the soil and the depths of the water and all that shit? I mean, it's such a crazy thought We're talking about these people who were just barely out of the Stone Age, at least as far as we're told. But then when you look and you see, well, no, they were way more advanced than we thought, or than we think. But what were they using for all of these extended measurements and all these people out just searching the Florida Keys? And I mean, the Florida Keys is a huge area. Huge area. And then they built a lighthouse to withstand the hurricanes that I guess didn't seem to happen very much back then. In 1829, under recommendations from Commodore John Rogers, the survey ship Florida stopped at the Dry Tortugas to evaluate the anchorage. Contrary to Commodore Porter's experience, Josiah Tatnall III was delighted with what he found. The Dry Tortugas reported consisted of 11 small keys and surrounding reefs and banks over which the sea broke, right? They just knew this. There was an outer and an inner harbor. The former afforded a safe anchorage during all seasons and was large enough to let a number of ships ride at anchor. Of more importance, the inner harbor combined a sufficient depth of water for ships of the line, with a narrow entrance of not more than 120 yards. And they found it in the middle of the ocean. They just found that shit on their boats without crashing their boats. Tatnall noted that if a hostile power should occupy the Dry Tortugas, United States shipping in the Gulf would be in deadly peril, and nothing but absolute naval superiority could prevail. Very Israeli attitude. However, if occupied and fortified by the U.S., the Dry Tortugas would constitute the advance post for a defense of the Gulf Coast. Robert E. Lee, then a captain, the same Robert E. Lee, right? Then a captain in the U.S. Army, shared this opinion, and in February 1845, penned a letter to Thomas Blake, Commissioner of the General Land Office, recommending the reservation of the Dry Tortugas for military use. Captain John G. Barnard then made a detailed reconnaissance in November of 1844, and on September 15th, 1845, the Dry Tortugas became a national military reservation, just like that. This is an aerial view of the fort in 1940.
Nick, go up and get my coffee.
No, I'll get it. You better stop this.
Huh?
You better put a stop to that.
I want.
The girls. Oh no, the girls.
Dad, are you done with the phone?
If I was, would you know?
Please?
You have friends here, dude.
Yeah, but they don't want to play.
Okay, well, play with them. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Construction of Fort Jefferson, named after the third President Thomas Jefferson, began on Garden Key in December 1846. They did have cameras back then. Under the supervision of Second Lieutenant Horatio Wright, after plans drawn up by Lieutenant Montgomery C. Meigs were approved in November. Man, we got all these people. Let's check these people. Montgomery Cunningham Meigs, May 3rd, 1816 to January 2nd, 1892, was a career United States officer and military and civil engineer who served as a quartermaster general of the U.S. Army during and after the American Civil War. Although a Southerner from Georgia, Meigs strongly opposed secession and supported the Union. His record as a quartermaster was regarded as outstanding, both in effectiveness and in ethical probity. Probity. Ethical probity? The Secretary of State, William H. Seward, viewed Meigs' leadership and contributions as key factors in the Union victory in the war. This guy's a fucking heavy-duty guy, man. Always facing the same way. Always looked the exact same. Meigs is one of the principal architects of Arlington National Cemetery. Oh, he built that too. Meigs' decision to locate the cemetery on Robert E. Lee's family estate, Arlington House, was partly a gesture to humiliate Lee for siding with the Confederacy. Oh, there we go. I was like, I wonder, because we saw that first picture, and I was like, I wonder why his hand isn't in his jacket, right? Well, here's the next picture. Got the hand in the jacket. Sure, it's just another coincidence. Meigs was born in Augusta, Georgia in May 1816. He is the son of Dr. Charles de Lucina Meigs and Mary Montgomery Meigs. His father was a nationally known obstetrician and professor of obstetrics. At Jefferson Medical College in Philadelphia. His grandfather, Josiah Meigs, graduated from Yale. I wonder if he was a Skull and Bones. Isn't it strange that people will blame the algorithm like there's not millions and millions of people doing things, and the probability of the same people being shown my shit, especially after they say they don't like it, is just astronomical? Isn't that stupid? Where he was a classmate of future dictionary creator Noah Webster and American Revolutionary War general and politician Oliver Wolcott, and later was president of the University of Georgia. Montgomery Meigs' mother, Mary, was granddaughter of a Scottish family from Brigand, with somewhat distant claims to a baronetcy, which immigrated to America in 1701. Sure. I just love all these fucking narratives now. It's so weird. Meigs' father apprenticed as a physician in Philadelphia until 1812, at which time he moved to Athens, Georgia. Easily done. He enrolled at the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia 3 years later in 1815. The same year, he began to practice medicine in Georgia. Just think about that. Think about what was med school like in 1815. They went to med school during the day at these crazy Greek architecture universities that were, by the time Rockefeller got a hold of things in like the 1880s, 1890s. One of the reasons that he was able to gain control of the all the schools and universities because he ran around offering people, offering the universities $1 million, $2 million, and they would say, all we ask is that you let a couple of the Rockefeller people in on the board so we can see where the money's going. But, which meant they controlled how the money was spent. But they were able to do this because all of these universities, the Harvards, the Yales, all that, were in such disrepair that they needed all this money. right? You know, it's it's kind of strange because you think like they seem to hold up well to this day, but how old were they that they were in disrepair by the time Rockefeller came around? And then you think about it again, like what were classes like? You know, I think we underestimate or overestimate our capabilities, underestimate how difficult things were. You know, you see these huge buildings, right? And inside these huge buildings made of marble and granite, stone, all this shit, it's not like there's windows. So then you think like once you get past the first rooms, you know, there'll be multiple floors and whatnot. Like, you know, if you're past the first entrance rooms or the window rooms, once you're past that and you're inside on the second floor or the first whatever, it's got to be pitch black inside of there. So we're to believe that they just had lantern systems up, you know, that they could use, and not only did they use those to hold their classes, they also used those to sculpt all the buildings and everything. These guys were amazing, incredible sculptors, unlike anything we can do today, in time frames that you know go beyond everything we can think of. And it was all by lantern light, I guess. It just seems fucking strange that we accept that. Like, that doesn't reek of stupidity. You know, they're just, it's insulting. It's insulting that you have to believe it to be taken seriously, you know. If you don't believe what they tell you, something's wrong. Meek's father, I mean, and this is, we're sure learning a lot about his dad here. He enrolled at the University, but 3 years later, blah, blah. Charles Meek received a medical degree from the University of Pennsylvania School of Medicine in 1817. And that summer, he moved his family, which then included a 1-year-old Montgomery, to Philadelphia and established a practice there. The Meigs family, was wealthy and well-connected, and Charles Meigs was a strong supporter of the Democratic Party. Meigs had an extremely good memory, and his father instilled in him a sense of duty and desire to pursue honorable causes. Young Montgomery received schooling at If anyone spills that shit, they go home. Oh, then send them home. I don't know what you were thinking, given these are 5-year-olds. Same year he practiced medicine, Pennsylvania. Meeks had an extremely good memory, and his father instilled in a sense of duty and a desire to pursue honorable causes. Young Montgomery received schooling at the Franklin Institute, and then a preparatory school for the University, of Pennsylvania. I don't know what that means. Franklin Institute is a science museum and a center of science education and research in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Oh, yeah, of course it is. The Franklin Institute. Looks a lot like the White House. But of course, these kind of buildings were just fucking easy to throw up back in the established in 1824. Built in 1931. What? On February 5th, 1824, Samuel Von Merrick and William H. Keating founded the Franklin Institute of the state of Pennsylvania for the promotion of the mechanics arts. The opening was chronicled by a literary chronicle for the year 1824. Fuck yeah. They just did it. They founded it. It's just I can just keep reading these things, and when to me I just get too many questions. It just creates so many more questions than it does give answers. Anyway, we're back to the thing. Chief Engineers Totten. It was and we're based on a design by Joseph Totten. Joseph Totten, August 23rd, 1788 to April 22nd, 1864, fought in the War of 1812. Of course he did. Served as Chief of Engineers and was regent of the Smithsonian Institute and co-founder of the National Academy of Sciences. Jesus! This guy was important. In 1836, he was elected a member of the American Philosophical Society. Yep, look at that. Same fucking picture as the rest of them. I mean, even the buttons are bunched up the same way. Let's see, where's the next picture? Do we get a standing picture with the hand in the jacket? Early life. Totten was born in New Haven, Connecticut to Peter Gilbert Totten and Grace Mansfield. He was the 10th person to graduate from the United States Military Academy, being one of 3 graduating members of the class of 1805. He was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Corps of Engineers on July 1st, 1805. He resigned in March 1806 to assist his uncle, Major Jared Mansfield, who was then serving as Surveyor General of the Northwest Territory. He was a cousin of Joseph K. Mansfield, who rose to the rank of Major General and died in the Battle of Antietam. Jeez, man, it's just playing all the hits. So Trotton re-entered the Corps of Engineers in February 1808 and helped build Castle Williams and Castle Clinton in New York Harbor. Castle Williams. Yep. He helped build that bad boy. Fucking A. You guys want to see it a little bit longer? Sorry. Castle Williams. Circular fort, 40 feet high, 4 stories. Fuck yeah. Design and construction. The fort during the war. That's an old picture then there. So that's what it looks like then. And this is what it looks like now. Where did all the extra ground come from behind it? That thing was out in the middle of nowhere on the old one. Yeah, that's not the same thing. What the fuck are we talking about? That's a completely different image. That one versus what it looks like today. Do you guys see the same thing? Do you guys not see the buildings and shit all around it, all the land all around it? Where did all that land come from? That's pretty amazing. Okay, so it was built in 1807. Was designed and erected between 1807 and 1811 under the direction of Lieutenant Colonel, later Colonel, Jonathan Williams, Chief Engineer of the Corps of Engineers and the first Superintendent of the United States Military Academy at West Point, New York. Williams was also a relative of Benjamin Franklin. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. It's so fucking stupid. Okay, and the other one was Castle Clinton, which this is an old picture. I guess it was destroyed. I don't really know. Built that one too. Originally known as West Battery. 1 acre. Built in 1808. Castle Clinton National Monument. During the War of 1812, he was chief engineer of the Niagara. I mean, it's just stupid. Chief of Engineers Troughton eventually visited the fort in 1855, accompanying Louis Agassiz. Work was half complete in 1860. Workers consisted mostly of enslaved people hired from their owners in Key West and other parts of the state of Florida. Some white laborers, mostly Irish immigrants, were also employed. The use of enslaved labor was discontinued in 1863. Just 3 years later, I love this narrative that you could just get enslaved people to create incredible things. They're starved, they're enslaved, they're depressed, all that shit. But they're out there creating the most beautiful forever buildings for you. The new fort was built so that the existing Garden Key Lighthouse and the lighthouse keeper's cottage were contained within the walls of the fort. The lighthouse continued to serve a vital function in guiding ships through the waters of the dry Tortugas Islands until the current metal light tower was installed atop an adjacent wall of the fort in 1876. The original brick lighthouse tower was taken down in 1877. Of course it was. Lower archway of one interior side of Fort Jefferson. Many of the arches were designed by Captain Daniel P. Woodbury, superintending engineer from 1856 to 1860. He didn't design all of them, but again, yeah, buddy. Why would you think that come on. That was donkey people. We're talking about the 18 somethings, right? 1850s. Why would you think this isn't possible in the 1850s? Remember we had all those fucking all that school and shit. Oh my god. This is the interior wall. Fucking of course they built this. Why wouldn't they build this? In 1 year. In just the middle of they tamed all that water, all that shit. Made those perfect building out in the water like that. It's 1 acre. Yeah, why not? Who cares about hurricanes and shit? That is Samuel Mudd as he appeared as federal blah blah blah. Here's the aerial view of it. Just perfect. Made it perfect. Oh, here's a color photo of it. Jesus Christ. How did they get all that part that's outside in the water? How did they do all that? How did they build that thing in the middle of the water in the 18 fucking hundreds, you guys? That shit don't make no sense. We're gonna have to come back to it again because I'm fucking done. All right, pedophiles, you go kill yourself. Everybody else, go get your free download and stuff.